viewers, how you doing? It's time to learn to drive the Flixtrain variation of the Vectron, otherwise known as Kermit the Train. Alright, let's get into Kermit. So we're going to open up the door and put our cursor down on the top step there so we can get in, pull in here, shut the door, and mostly it's the same as the other Vectron. So headlights on, release the parking brake, turn on Seifa, which is the vigilance control that periodically alerts you, and if you don't acknowledge it, it stops you, and it's quite a palaver to fix it. Then we turn on PZB, which is the signalling safety system, where you need to acknowledge adverse signalling and signs, or it whacks you. This is not a PZB tutorial. And then LZB for automatic train control of a sort. Now this route doesn't actually have LZB, so that's okay. Next up, we pop in our master key, cut in the brakes, set the reverser to forwards, and then we'll have a look at our screen here. Let's check our lights. So we've got white lights on the front and no lights on the back, which is good because we're towing a passenger train, so that's fine. So we'll just go back out of there. We can check our voltage if we need to. So in this particular case, we're in Germany and 15 kV is appropriate, so we will not change that. Set up. I think. Which one? Actually, this one doesn't have PZB mode, I don't think. Yes, it does. I lied. Okay, so we want PZB mode O for a passenger train. It's already in mode O, so that's fine, but if we wanted to change it, we can change it to the other modes here. So if you did a free roam, for example, and you decided to pop this on, and we can turn on our lighting in our carriages there, and pop back to the main menu. We don't need to do anything else on this one. And on this screen, I don't think we really need to do too much, so that's fine. Doesn't look like there's anything that needed there, so that's good. Doors we open with opening up the right button there, so we are opening our doors. Let's put our signal lights to high beam dimmed. Train lines start, which will energize our passenger carriages, and we can see there that the little dash through the E has now gone out, so that we can our passengers will be good. The emergency stop button is here should you need it. Contact signaler is here. You have sun blinds. If things are a bit bright, you can drop the blind down a little, and you can open the window, of course. Right, we'll be ready to go in a moment. Let's just lock the doors now with the red button. And as we come out of here, we'll be in monitoring, and we do actually have a red signal in front of us as well, which we'll probably change in a moment, but we'll just set our speed to 40, which will be under the monitoring speed, and click the set speed. I'm not sure if I've turned on AFB actually, because it's not making any sound. Let's just go back into this screen. Functions, no, that's not that one. There's normally an AFB button, but there we go.
RFB.
Lovely.
RFB.
So what I did there is I went into the quick bar, turned on AFB with 1, and then back to home. So we've got AFB turned on now. Slightly different to the other ones. Confirm again, and you can see that the little diamond has appeared, in fact, so very good. Okay, that signal has gone green, so we will release the brakes, and you'll notice they don't do particularly much, but it is charging up the train brake pipe, and it's gone blue, so we can start powering. The train brake pipe is on this screen, so this is the train brake pipe. This is the air in the cylinders on the locomotive. You see they're releasing, and we're now just making power with our traction motors here. That's traction motor 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the locomotive. Alright, and we have started to move. It is safe to release according to the PZB helper, so we will. Which means we can set a higher speed. But the first thing I want to show you is, oh no, someone jumped off on the platform. So, emergency stop. No one really jumped off, of course, but, you know, this is just what you do. So throttle back to 0, apply some brakes, and you'll notice it's a bit quiet in here now, and our line voltage is gone. That's because our pantograph is down. Okay. Release the emergency plunger. The person's gotten back on the platform. It's safe. So we have to raise that. I just heard the click, so it's back up. Now just wait a little while. Okay, we can see line voltage is back here now. So now circuit breaker until we hear a clunk. There it goes. There's the clunk. And just wait a little while. We should hear the compressor start. There it goes. And we'll also turn on the train line start again so that we power up the train. Everything else will be fine. So we'll just let it charge the brakes up so we can see that the main res has gone back to blue. And we will see our train pipe charge up when we release the brakes. You can see that's now coming up and it's gone to blue, so that means we're allowed to apply some power. So I'm applying some power with the throttle, and we can see that we're starting to power up. So that was relatively simple, he says. The next thing I'm going to show you is what happens when you don't acknowledge SIFA. Now, there is no penalty for acknowledging SIFA whenever you want. And it's acknowledged with the foot pedal down there that you can't actually see. It's the Q button or B or circle on your controller. Now, most drivers on most railways, and I've chatted to some German and Austrian drivers about this, most of them just press and release SIFA all the time to stave it off, and it'll never actually sound then, because they keep resetting the counter back to 0. We can set our AFB up to 80. Now, I'm not going to acknowledge SIFA when it sounds, and we'll click that to acknowledge. We'll start powering up some more. There we go. I'm not going to acknowledge SIFA when it sounds. I'm going to let it stop the train because it's a bit of a palaver to get through it. It's pretty standard for the Vectrons. I think the DB Vectron's the worst one. Here's SIFA, so not acknowledging it. Normally you just press Q. There we go. We've got a SIFA Zwang Bremsung on the display here, and we've got HL Druck auf SB Niveau, which I tried to translate and I couldn't. So apply some brakes so you take control, put your throttle back to off, and acknowledge SIFA. And now we have to wait. What we've got to wait for is this red indicator to go off. Now, this is a bit different to a normal emergency brake because the pantograph does not drop. But we do have to wait. And wait. And wait. And wait. We can hear the compressor running, but we won't be able to drive at the moment because this has to go away. So we wait. And we wait. We wait a little bit more. This is called being punished. Or not obeying the entity SIFA. You must be good to SIFA. We forgot to put out the sacrificial goat by pressing the Q key, circle or B on your flavour of controller of choice. So we are now stuck. At this point you can release the brakes because it won't do anything anyway. There we go, the red light has gone out now, so once the brake pipe charges up to 5 and goes blue, there it goes, we will be able to power. And power we can. Lovely. Okay. Now, I'm not actually going to take this all the way through to Hanau, because I'm going to take it to whatever the next station is, and I will show you how to stop the train there. Now, there are people who will tell you, and this is real drivers and simulator drivers alike, that you should not use you shouldn't use AFB to stop your train, and you shouldn't use regenerative braking to stop your train. But they're wrong, and I'll show you why. Because it's all about what the train does in a moment. So we're going downhill now. Let's say I wanted to maintain this speed. Let's acknowledge SIFA this time. Let's say I wanted to maintain this speed for some reason. I can come off the throttle and move it into the bremsen range for braking, and we will just quite happily maintain our speed. Like, we're actually slowing down a little bit, so I'll back this off a bit. We'll maintain our speed down this gradient. The gradient's gone away now anyway, so you can do that as much as you want, even with AFB on. If you get up to your AFB target speed, and you always run at 5 kilometers under the actual speed limit, because if it gets over the target speed and you happen to go past a PZB magnet, it'll stop you. So we're allowed to go up to 150 now. So we'll go up to 145 and acknowledge or confirm. We've got plenty of power on. But let's say you wanted to stop the train. So I think there is actually a station not that far away. Let's just have a quick look. That looks like a station right there, doesn't it? Ah, Seifa! Seifa! You can't acknowledge Seifa in the map screen! That was close. But anyway, let's say you wanted to stop at the next station, so just reduce your throttle off, and you can start applying some brake with, let me just move the screen a bit, start applying some brake. Brake 1A and 1B are only regenerative braking, and if you need to stop more quickly, you can go into brake 2 or brake 3, all the way up to brake 7. I think this one goes all the way up to. Yeah, it does. Maximum braking. And if you put it into SOS, it's the same as whacking the mushroom over here, so same stop, same reset procedure. There's a plane! So I know we're not actually in a station, but I'm just going to show you how to stop and reset this train, or configure this train to leave it now. So you can see it's using the regenerative braking to actually stop the train. It's not using the air brakes at all. Seifa. Seifa. Whoop, get out of the screen, Seifa. Ooh, that's naughty. You can't actually acknowledge Seifa when you're zoomed in on a screen. That's interesting. Alright, now you'll notice it applied the air brakes as soon as we stopped. That's why all those people that tell you should not slow down the train to a stop with regenerative braking are wrong, because it's exactly what the Vectron does. You can't change it. But anyway, it's all good. So let's say you were getting off here for no readily apparent reason. Up to max brake. Full service. Throttle to 0. AFB back to 0 and confirm it. Go into this screen. Quick bar. Turn off AFB. Back out of here. Set your neutral on the reverser. Cut out the brakes. Take out the brake key. And close your window. And then we'll climb down. Always climb down, because you can lose points if points are your thing for just jumping, because you're not being safe. Just got to find the right spot to get the door. There it is. And that's it for learning how to drive the Flixtrain Vectron. That should cover you for pretty much everything you need to know that's different about this one. And that's it for now. So if you've got any questions, chuck them down below and I'll see what I can do to help you out. Please like and subscribe. There are loads of other TSW5 tutorials in the playlist if you need them.
We played a game.